All right, Reggie, before we get going into today's segment, is there anything that you want to speak on or talk about?
Um, yeah, right quick. Virgo season. Don't forget, y'all. Virgo gang. Shout out to you guys on your birthday season. And then there's a guy that, and I wanted just to throw this out to you guys. That's in the Bomb First community. That, and we know who be commenting in the sections and on the live streams and all of that. If you got something good going on in your life and you want us to shout it out, like a birthday, not a birthday, like a book deal, or you about to a big retirement or something like that, let us know. DM me, and we'll give you a shout out, because this is not just about me and John or Reggie or whatever. This is about the community, the Bomb First community. So there's a guy that was a moderator of ours by the name of D Block. This week we're going to show and talk about. He just retired from the military, or is about to retire from the military, and he got this nice plaque from his friends and the government. And he's been in the military, the Air Force, for over 20 years. And we just wanted to bring some attention to him and shout out D Block, a major 49er football fan, for any of you 49er fans. But other than that, John, let's get going. It's going to be a good week.
So, our favorite person, Choke No Joke, did another follow-up interview where he kind of threw out accusations, as he always does, with zero to no proof. So I wanted to quote a couple things from that, get your response, and address it, because I don't want people to think that we're shying away from anything he's saying. The first thing he said was that you told Greg that Southsiders did Biggie because they didn't get paid for Tupac, and his argument there is, how did Reggie know that there was a monetary exchange for the Tupac hit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but it was on the streets of L.A. For anybody that don't know it, we had got word that that's what the retaliation that we thought, as y'all even learned, how Keefe D and them pushed up. And Keefe D had even said how he used to be going and trying to meet with Puffy and them when they went to the museum and asked him if they needed some security, and he told them he was hot and all of that. So I don't know. Guess because I know so much going on in the streets, and I know so much that's going on out here, and you don't. You new to this. You were snitching on your homeboy probably back during that time, or getting your ass beat over there later on. Well, eventually about to get your ass whooped by Damon Dash and Jay-Z and all of them, you know. And so, hey, Reggie knows shit, heard shit. But I did an article in the Vibe about it, y'all. Y'all won't look it up. I done told y'all about it several times in 1997, where I told y'all that I was wrong. I admit I was wrong. The situation with Biggie, it comes to time to believe, and I believe was not behind Southside. Uh, yeah, y'all know I believe Poochie theory, and that's what I believe. But hey, who cares? Ain't nothing gonna be done. Poochie's gone. Nothing's happening to anybody behind it. There's nothing that can happen. So, okay, investigator, snitch joke.
Okay. Moving on to some of the outlandish things that he said. He said that Keefe D and James went to you about the Tupac hit because you figured, you were mad that you got fired, and you said you might as well get this money since the hit is on, and that another good reason to do it would be that Sharitha would inherit the label and Snoop would be the number one artist again.
Okay. I guess that's just an opinion or whatever. Whoever thought if Sharitha wanted to inherit the label, all she had to do was divorce Suge Knight. She would have got half, 50%. They had no prenuptial agreement or anything.
Time, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this. So I didn't fight Suge over half of anything. I got out. So when I hear that I tried to kill Tupac and Suge to get death row, well, I didn't have to do anything to get death row. I had death row.
Okay. And you could have taken half of it if you wanted to. So the theory that you were with Suge for money.
That would have been the best choice of his life. That
Okay.
me having taken death row and everything I should have taken, that would have been the best thing that ever happened to Suge, because I would have took the Masters along with me.
Yeah.
Because I knew somewhere down the line there was probably a chance that he was going to lose all of that.
As far as James, me and James wasn't. We were cool. We knew each other, but we wasn't like that then to be bringing James involved in something like that. Bob Gotti was my guy then, back then. And who else? Buntry, 95, 96, people like that. Nobody was trying to do anything to Suge Knight back then to inherit a label. Sharitha, as y'all remember what in her interview, what Kenya said, how Sharitha was hysterical.
God, it was crazy because I had my cell phone and I made 2 calls. I remember I made one call. The first call was to Sharitha Knight, because people don't know that Arian, which is Suge's daughter, and one of my best friends, Sharitha, her daughter Arian had rolled down there with Suge and Pac. Arian was like maybe 3 years old at that point. And when I called Sharitha, she started screaming, "Was my daughter in the car? Was my daughter in the car?" And I'm like, no. Arian was not in the car. So she was hysterical, getting ready to pack up and fly to Vegas.
When she heard that happened, that Suge had just got shot and all of that. What she was mainly worried about was her daughter. Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? So would she be involved, or want somebody doing something that she knew was going to happen to Suge Knight or Tupac, and have her daughter possibly? And I know she wouldn't be going to a nightclub with him, but nobody knew when that was going to happen, when he was going to drop Arian off at the hotel. If you know something like that's going on, you would keep your Arian can't go out there with you this weekend. She can't go out there and hang out with you. Y'all be like, well, why was Arian out there anyway? Why was she? Because the next day everybody was going. There was going to be a big party or reunion or something like that at Lake Mead out there, where everybody was going to ride the jet skis and stuff like that. Not saying that Arian would have been in the car with Suge, but trust me, a mother would have kept her child out there in L.A. if she thought or was a part of some bullshit like that happening.
Okay. The next thing he talks about is, he said that Suge Knight took Kevin Gaines to the desert, beat him up, and left him naked. Can you speak to that?
Yeah.
When you two started dating, obviously it wasn't public, as you mentioned that you and Suge weren't quote unquote together, but what was Suge's reaction when he found out about this? Was there any bad drama, or was everything in agreement?
No, Suge was not happy at all that he found out I was dating someone. Now, remind you, he had plenty women, but Kevin was never around anything. Kevin's never been to anything, never no business, never no premieres, never any parties, never any events. But Suge had all his women at these events, but that was our agreement, and I kept our agreement. Kevin, that was my private, personal life. Suge was my professional life.
Okay.
So, no, they never got introduced to each other. Suge was devastated when he found out I, quote unquote, had a boyfriend.
Gotcha. How did he find out?
How did Suge?
You know I gotta ask.
One of our many stories. There was an event in Vegas that we all were at, not Kevin, but the Death Row family. And I had already planned for me and my family, along with Kevin, to come to Vegas. There was my uncle, there was my grandmother, there was my mother, me and Kevin. Well, they wasn't coming to Vegas until after. So I left Vegas for the event, thought Suge was leaving from Vegas at this time. So I said, okay. So I drove back flew back to California, drove back out to Vegas like the next day. to be, this was my family planning this weekend. Well, I didn't know Suge didn't leave Vegas. If I would have known Suge didn't leave Vegas, I wouldn't have been in Vegas.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So we were at a hotel, and I don't really remember the hotel, but we were at a hotel, and we came out the hotel. We were standing there waiting for valet to bring the car. And here comes Suge and one of his homies. And I think I got speechless at the time because I would never I knew how Suge felt. Let me say that. I really knew how he felt. He still had feelings. I think he thought we were going to have an opportunity to be together when he stopped doing whatever he was going to do. And I had to once move on. I am human. I can't wait for you forever to grow up. I have to do something too. So the look on his face just hurt my heart because this is the first time I've ever seen him this hurt. And so he asked us for a ride. So the car comes along and we all get in the van. I'm like, okay, bye. And he said, well, can you give me a ride to such and such hotel? And I was like, oh gosh, here we go. So I ended up in the back seat. He was like, well, can you sit back here so I can talk to you? I'm like, oh goodness. So we get in the back seat. His friend sits in the doorway because we had a van, and he's back here talking, and I don't really want to say what we talked about because it's
of course. Yeah.
He was just devastated. He didn't know how to deal with it. Let me just say that. So his idea is to kidnap me. So his idea that he was going to kidnap me. And I'm like, everybody gets out of the van, and I'm still in the van trying to get him to get out of the van. And he jumps into the front seat and just takes off. And everybody else is standing on the curb like, what is going on? So I finally convinced him, stop. You got to stop this. And he stopped. He pulled over to Parker at my hotel, and I took off. And I hid from him so he could leave me alone. So I was like, okay, I'm going to hide from him because he lost his mind. I can't deal with him. So he ended up finding out, I guess because we're quote unquote married, he has right to know what rooms I have.
Oh,
and
I see.
So we were still legally married. So he had right to ask what rooms I had because he was looking for Kevin. He was looking for Kevin at this time.
Oh, no.
And he ended up in my grandmother's room.
Okay.
And he calls me on the phone and says, where are you? I'm in your grandmother's room. So you threatening my grandmother? And he was like, no, I'm going to get her some room service. We in here, we about to eat. So I knew what that meant. You better get over here because I ain't leaving your grandmother until you show up. So I ended up showing up. Long story short, I told everybody to go home. I said, y'all go home. I'm going to deal with Suge.
I mean, how much lack of fear, I guess you could say, does somebody like Kevin have to date you knowing that, Suge still has feelings for you, you guys are still legally married? Or did he just, because he was an officer, he didn't have that fear?
He was more afraid that he might have to shoot Suge than anything else.
Gotcha.
That's what if I have to determine his fear, because when Suge and his friend, because now you're thinking his friend is in the doorway, what are they trying to plan? So I could see Kevin takes his gun out of his holster and sit it on his lap. That was fear in itself. He did not at all want to have to defend himself.
Okay.
So as a man, it doesn't matter whether you're a police officer or a man, you're a human. You don't want to ever have to defend yourself from your girlfriend's father. And then you're the one that shot her father. Well, that wouldn't go very well even with me, whether me and Suge was together or not. If Kevin actually would have had to kill Suge or shot Suge or however, I wouldn't have ever continued to talk to Kevin.
Gotcha.
So it's a fear within itself. So yes, he was afraid that he had to make a decision that he didn't want to make. So fortunately, he didn't have to make that decision.
Yeah, I heard Sarita. Here's some audio of an interview, a live stream that we did back in the day with Sarita when she laughed about that. I'm telling y'all, if anything like that would have happened, And y'all believe anything about Kevin Gaines and them? Trust me, they would have been there, got them. They wouldn't have waited no 6 or 8 months to get no Suge Knight or whoever did something like that to them. Because that's how cops are. I don't care what type of cop they are. They are not going to go get stripped. So if they got stripped and left in the desert, who found them? Who found them, y'all? That's just some YouTubers, idiots on YouTube, that stupid, I hate even using the word because y'all get mad, but this old white YouTuber, Michael Carlin, that made that up. Nobody else has ever talked about that. None of Gaines' friends. None of his old cop buddies. Sharita told y'all what happened on that situation where they got in the car, in the backseat of the car at the hotel, and y'all just don't know how Sharita talked to Suge. Sharita was not the type of female that was scared of Suge motherfucking Knight. They had a crazy relationship as far as going back and forth with each other. It was almost like how you argue with your sister. And how I always saw it. They were like brother. Y'all got to remember, Suge and Sharita have been dating each other since he was 16, she was 14. They've been knowing each other for a long time. It's probably why she tolerated so much from me during their relationship and then when they became estranged. But man, nobody has ever, trust me, that didn't happen. But this, I don't know because I wasn't there. But I know what Sharita said in her interview that y'all just heard. I know what cops would have did if some shit like that would have happened to one of their homeboys. But I know y'all say, well, that's why they did it. All right. Well, then why Keefe D sitting in jail, y'all? Why Keefe D is up there telling these stories that he's been telling? Come on, y'all. Y'all can't have it both ways just because y'all don't like somebody and y'all want to put something on somebody when all the facts are right in front of y'all. So now the DA, a new district attorney, and all of them are putting their reputations on the line for Reggie motherfucking Wright. Oh, man, the shit y'all believe.
Okay. And then he broke out his phone and played some audio of a phone call between you and Sharita where you were asking her about a check, if Kevin Gaines ever got a check from Death Row. And she said, quote unquote, that's a whole other thing. Or talking about something else, that's a whole other thing. Can you speak to that part or what that was about?
Oh, yeah. Everybody know what that was about. When it was the Biggie shit. It's all in the book. Greg Katie's done talked about it. Where I done admitted that, that I believe the money came from Sharita for the alleged hit. And how it came and all of that. Y'all know about it, anybody that know it. But that's all we talking about. We ain't going to talk about that. We ain't going to talk about that money. Greg Katie's put it out. He put it in the book. For those of y'all don't know, go research it and find out what was said. But that's all that is. But nobody know Kevin Gaines. I have never met Kevin Gaines, seen Kevin Gaines before in my motherfucking life. And my whole point, if you listen to the conversation, I was pretty much saying, man, what the fuck, Sharita? You gave him a check? You had a check cut out to Kevin Gaines for $10,000? That's because RJ and Tanique and all of them was pushing that they got a check and saying that. And Sharita's like, Reggie, come on. Why would I be hiding somebody and then leaving a paper trail, cutting checks to them? Sharita, Suge would have had a fucking holy nut case if she knew who she was fucking. He didn't care about who she was fucking out in publicly and all of that. But Suge was still the type of man that was like, no, shit, you still my wife. Even though I'm doing the shit I'm doing, you still my wife. And so that's why she had to fuck with a nigga that was, not scared of no gang members or whatever. And who was that? A cop. And so that's why she probably started dating him. Because he was probably the only one was like, fuck that nigga. I ain't scared of it. Okay, that's Suge Knight. Fuck it. That's the mentality of a cop. And so that's why the only nigga she probably could date and stuff like that during that time period. Because most niggas didn't want that drama. Would you have messed with her? Knowing that the reputation that Suge had during that time? And the crew that he had? I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have.
Okay, the next thing he goes into is he brings up David Mack and Rafael Perez getting in trouble and saying, how come they never brought up your name, Reggie? Why would they? You were the lowest person on the totem pole at that time. That's why they didn't bring up your name.
Well, that's who usually gets snitched on first. Yeah, the lower. Yeah. See, you want to kind of downplay. 1 minute you want to make like I'm this tough guy and this order shot calling and ordering all the hits. Then the next minute when it don't make sense, oh you the peon. That's why they ain't never meant. Make up your mind, though. Which one is it? Either I'm a tough guy or I'm a peon. Which one is it? Well, okay. But think about what was out there in 97, 98 and all that when that Rampart stuff was going on. The biggest case for any LAPD would have been to solve the Biggie Small murder investigation. Right? Shit. If a DA would have known that they could have got Reggie Wright and Suge Knight on a fucking murder case versus some guns, some Mexican drug dealers or some black gang members getting dope cases and gun cases overturned. But this big old high profile case, shit, and all we about to give him is 6 or 7 years? Hey man, okay, that's cool. We got those 70 cases overturned. But that one big one, that murder case, those guys, Reggie Wright and Suge Knight, you tell us that one, you won't have to do 6 or 7 years, Raphael. Oh, no, they too tough. I ain't snitching on them. Y'all think that's what Raphael said? All right. Hey, David Mack, you got like 7 or 8 years left on that, on this case, on this 14-year sentence you and the feds doing time for, man. You come home right now. All we need to know is Reggie and Suge, or Reggie or Suge hired you. And you can walk out right now. Y'all don't think they would have did that? These are cops. Y'all remember? Snitches, rats. Have y'all ever once heard them mention my name ever in life? Or Suge? No, because they didn't know us. They couldn't prove any way of knowing us. But all you YouTuber experts, all the documentaries, oh yeah, they were friends. They knew each other. Where? How? They got skip trace. They got all that type of stuff to find out if niggas was talking to each other on the phones and all of that. Even to meet up, you got to call and say, hey, David, meet me at Melrose. Meet me somewhere. Got to have at least a 30-second phone call, just that. You don't think they checked all that? But hey, you don't think they would have gave up all of that to get out of jail from doing time, y'all? All right. But he snitched on 70 other cops, but he wouldn't snitch on Reggie and Suge. Oh, wow. All right. Okay.
It should be noted, too, that when he did snitch on 70 other police officers, some of the things that he testified to were as small as officers consuming alcohol while on duty.
So they were snitching on everything. But there was also some gun cases, and there was one that was even a shooting where one cop planted a gun or something like that on a guy that got shot and paralyzed. And they showed how that particular person, got put in a wheelchair and was in prison doing time and all of that because they planted a gun on him. So these dudes were telling everything.
that's correct. It looks like the guy who they framed was Javier Ovando, which was the one that they shot and then framed. And then another big thing that he did was stole and resold at least $800,000 worth of cocaine from evidence lockers. So,
But they ain't gonna tell on Reggie and Shug. All right. All right.
all right. The next thing he goes into is saying, you know, Reggie's really big on stating that Miss Wallace believes Greg Kidding's findings in murder rap. But he goes on to say, come on, you can't really say that because she's not a street person. She's not street smart. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, she has an attorney though. Attorney usually the one that advises you whether something is true or what's not. Now you have the ultimate say. You know, well, I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to continue to pursue this or not, for whatever reason. But for Miss Wallace to go ahead and she did get $1 million judgment for law fees, which the lawyer, she's got the money that she gave the attorney back on that because they had to start the case over. The case didn't just get kicked out. They just had to start all over. And they said, okay, because Greg Cadies did what they did, or Katz or whoever did what they did, here's the $1 million for fees that you paid. Now y'all got to go and try to prove your case again. And so she had the money again. She had the attorney, Perry Sanders. But they went and showed him all the evidence, showed him all the statements, showed him what they were dealing with. And he was like, hey, Miss Wallace, I think we we beaten up the wrong tree. I don't think we should pursue this anymore. I think this is what really happened. And that convinced a mother. She may not be street. She was a school teacher. But she ain't no motherfucking dummy. Y'all listen to that lady. That lady she loved Biggie Small or Notorious B.I.G. or Christopher Wallace, whatever name y'all want to call him. She loved him. And a mother, a woman, they're going to fight for justice if there's a chance, if they don't feel that the case been solved. She is not the type of mother. She is not Faith Evans. That's just going to be, all right, let me have the money. She is not Faith Evans. That's a mama. A strong, she was a strong lady. And y'all can tell. Y'all know it. So to say that she's just going to drop the case because whatever, because she don't have the money to fight it? Oh, she had the money to fight it. No, because they came, they presented all the evidence to her, and she realized that this guy, Russell Poole, is an idiot, a drunk, and this is what really happened. But more importantly, that attorney was convinced. Because trust me, he was the one that kept telling her and advising her. But Crack No Joke knows best. He knows. What Damon Dash said he was doing? Running down the street, running away every chance. Every chance. Every time they had an encounter. That's all he knowing for, is being a bitch and running down the street when niggas trying to take their camera and footage. What did his other homeboy say? He got on the stand and testified against him. This is the nigga y'all got me up here arguing with. A confirmed bitch and a confirmed rat.
All right, the next thing he goes into, Reggie, is he says that the story about paying Orlando Anderson $60,000 was a lie and that Orlando Anderson was at the hospital at the time of the shooting.
Yeah. Well, only thing I can say on that is Orlando Anderson sued the Tupac estate. And nowhere does mention that he went to the hospital and he had these particular damages done, and he seek medical treatment for these damages. That's law 101. First thing the attorney would have put in a lawsuit. My client suffering from this and this, and he seek medical treatment at this location. The DA on the Tupac case now has personally told me that there's no evidence, nowhere that Orlando went to the hospital that particular night. Okay. The $60,000 part. Well, okay. Suge actually didn't pay him. He didn't pay. He had Norris Anderson and Reggie Wright take the money down there. Or the check. It probably was a check. It was a check. And give to the attorney. For him to come to court and testify. Y'all look at the dates of the lawsuit. So he's still sued. Orlando and them still sued. But he came to court to testify. So this gang member gonna come to court to testify for Suge and say that Suge saved his life and all of that, and Suge was his savior and all of that.
But when the beating victim Orlando Anderson took the stand, he testified Knight tried to stop the beating. Again, we cannot show you Anderson on the stand.
I seen him standing right there helping me. He was about the only one.
He was helping you, is that correct?
Yes.
Las Vegas Metro Homicide Detective Brent Becker later took the stand and testified Anderson had a much different story when he interviewed him in October.
He made the comment that Tupac and Knight beat him up pretty good. And
He specifically said
he used
Knight.
the first name Tupac and the last name Knight.
Anderson was arrested last month in a sweep of Compton gangsters. Las Vegas homicide cops are still investigating possible links between Anderson's beating and the shooting death of rapper Tupac Shakur on the Vegas Strip later that night.
That's what the type of story y'all want to believe that Orlando going to do for sure. Okay, all right, y'all right. Keep listening to the snitch. Keep listening. KVD told y'all the story before I have told y'all the story way before that. KVD came on there and confirmed it. Y'all was like, yeah, because you and KVD on the same page, y'all. Or maybe just because it's the truth. I'm not one. I know y'all figure you catch a person in one lie. Everything else they say is a lie. I'm not one to say that. I say people are liar. People lie. But there's also be some truth to something. With Gene Deal, I say he lied. He embellished situations and all of that. But I don't say everything that he says is a lie. But that's how y'all do on YouTube. I guess that's what y'all do. But I'm not one to ever say that everything a person says is a lie. I just think y'all got to be able to determine which part is a lie, which part isn't a lie. And that's where your radars or your antennas need to go up.
All right. Near the end of his interview, he seems to stutter and have a problem really tying this thing together. But a couple more things he does say, and then we'll move on. But he says that he believes that Diddy and Jimmy Henchman worked together to put the hit on both Tupac and Biggie, and that it was over Biggie's publishing.
Yeah. He gets that from Gene. Gene talks about that a lot. Everything he gets from off the YouTube, and he just put it all together and put his spin on it and all of that, which is crazy to me. But I don't know. How can I say? What can I say? I believe, I have always heard it was Jimmy showing Puffy that I'm the man. This guy Tupac ain't all that tough, or whoever was protecting Tupac at the time. If it was Asian Jack or whoever, they ain't all that tough. That I'm the man, and you watch what I'm about to do. He trying to teach Andre Herrero and Puffy a lesson. Is how I took it. And because Tupac had allegedly disrespected Jimmy Hitchman over the phone, and so he was like, okay, I gotta show this little nigga, gotta teach him a lesson. That's what I believe that happened. is glad to see that a lot of people are confirming some of the things that I had said before in the past. That everybody in the comment section was like, "Oh, that didn't happen. That didn't happen." When I said he accidentally shot himself in the groins area, I've heard 2 or 3 interviews recently that has pretty much said that. But everything Reggie says is a lie. But it seems like every time Reggie says something, y'all hear about it later. It end up coming up as turning out to be, damn, we did hear that first. But then everybody always forget where they heard it first from. Because when I said it was a lie, now other people saying it, then, oh yeah, that did happen. Yep.
All right, and then last but not least, he tries real hard to try to tie you into it at the end because first he says that that Diddy and Jimmy Hinchman were the ones behind all this. But then he goes on to say, but Reggie orchestrated both the murders because he's the quote-unquote self-labeled orchestrator, that you don't get your hands dirty.
Yeah. I've always said that. I believe that Jill and all of that is for fighting and stuff like that is for Jill and all of that. But I don't. I have never been the type of guy that go and put any type of work. Will never get no car and do nothing. I'm a reactor. I'm one that with you and that's going to react to things that happens. But yeah, I don't believe in being spontaneous at all. And so that's what I mean by when I say I will orchestrate something. If I want somebody to get slapped or something like that, we're going to put a plan together. You'll never get me being emotional like a bitch and spontaneous and taking penitentiary chances. No. You probably can slap me. And I always said, you slap me, you might get away with slapping me right then. But trust me, you're going to pay for that slap one day. And that's what I mean by that. So, yeah.
Okay. Before we finish discussing the whole choke no joke stuff, is there anything you want to end on? Because he claims he's not going to talk about you anymore. That this is the last time he's gonna speak on you.
Okay. I bet you. By October. Not October. Fuck that. September the 22nd, he will have my name in his mouth somehow. But the only thing is, y'all, and this is what y'all got to really ask yourself. And this is all y'all need to do. On the Biggie Small, why would, if y'all believe the LAPD stuff, I don't believe it, but if y'all believe the crooked cop stuff, why would those cops sit in jail and do prison time when they could have got a free pass by laying out Reggie and Shug? Okay. 6, 7 years ain't nothing. They didn't care to do that little 14 years that David Mack had to do, and I think Rafael Perez did 6, 7 years or whatever. That wasn't shit to them. Okay. All right. Let me ask y'all this. Why would Keefy D be sitting in prison? Y'all done heard me arguing back and forth with this dude, calling him, talking about his wife was bent over, grabbing her ankles and shit like that by my homeboy Buntree and all of that. When, y'all done heard me say all of this stuff about him. How he's a smoker, a crack kid, and all of this shit. I just recently said nigga look like he about to have a baby while he's in prison and all of that shit. Showed y'all a picture of that nigga looking like he about to have a baby. I throw every jab I can at that brother. Now I do have a heart. I do. I'm gonna be honest. When I saw that nigga standing in court begging and telling him he about to die from cancer and all of that shit, and he's sick and all of that, I did kind of feel bad. I'll be honest. That's just me. I'm a salty. My bite. My dad always tell me, or your bark is bigger than your bite. He always tell me that. Your bark is bigger than your bite. But my whole point will be, why would Keefe D be sitting in jail and doing all of that time and all that? And he never has once to say, hey. It was Reggie and Suge that orchestrated all this, or it was Reggie that orchestrated this, and David Mack and Rafael Perez. I'm just a pawn. I'm just there. I'm just a pawn, man. I'm dying from this cancer. Hey, Reggie, I got to do a fucking a GoFund page, something similar to a GoFund page to raise bail, man. You better put some money on there to bail me out. Because trust me, if I knew a nigga like that had something and he was my pawn and all of that, it wouldn't be no fucking attorney like the one he got that would be representing him. I wouldn't be clowning that crackhead, toothless, pregnant, infected motherfucker like I do. If the nigga had any dirt on me, I would never mention his name. Peace bomb first.
All right, Reggie. Ed Lover is doing an interview, and he speaks on how close he was with Stretch and stuff like that. He's basically stated that he believes that Stretch had nothing to do with setting up Tupac at the Quad situation. I wanted to see if you caught any of the segments on Ed Lover, and if you had any thoughts about anything that he spoke about when it comes to Stretch and Tupac.
Yeah, well, I didn't know, and people used to always, when I used to tell the story that I heard, and what I believe, used to always say, Ed Lover said it didn't happen, Ed Lover, and I had always respected Ed Lover, because I remember he used to have that show on Yo Rap TV or Yo Rap MTV or something like that, and then he also was a radio DJ out here in LA for a minute, which is crazy. I don't know how we allow that to happen. But so I always kind of liked the Ed Lover though, and so but I didn't know that him and Stretch was as close as they were. So it makes a lot of sense to why he always talking and acting like that towards or saying that what Stretch did or what Pac didn't do and all of that. Okay, but that's he's supposed to ride for his boy like that. The biggest thing, and I'm disappointed, I'm so disappointed, and that's why I get mad at that channel, the person where he's at over there, because he the one that be giving us this game and the interviews, but it's like he's so scared to challenge motherfucker. When the guy said, yeah, he would have never did this. I never understood why Pac was mad and all of that. Well, he the one that, when the young lady came on this show, Desiree, right? And Desiree told us how Stretch was trying to get with her and was trying to, go out and tell her bullshit about Pac and all of that and his relationship with the other young lady and stuff like that. And so why he don't say, hey, well, your boy Stretch was doing this and doing this to Pac and trying to get at his bitch. And all of that is the reason why. And he knows all of this. So that's why I say that niggas don't know how to interview and don't know how to, bring up shit, or just because if you're just trying to get the content and don't want to challenge anyone. I don't know. But that's where he's neglect that, because he knows he has that flashback. He has that interview where Desiree was pretty much putting out there that Big Stretch was trying to get with her and shit. And that was Pac's bitch. I don't care how he looked at her. That's his bitch. You don't do that. Or you do it. Niggas do it all the time. But you don't give me a pass for it. So that's why he was mad. Now, he brought up the year to the date stuff too. Just a coincidence. I just told y'all, I don't believe in coincidence. I know a dude took a trip to New York during that time period. And when he came back, Pac embraced him like he embraced him very well. I'll just say that. Then I also just told y'all, after that, that dude was around us for about 2 months daily. He was the man. So that's all I ever said. For those of y'all said, ooh, you know, 'cause y'all make it seem like I just said that was strange. So that would be my only take about the Stretch and Pac situation. Uh, you know, everybody you say it was actually a hit for his brother. Then people say it was a drug deal going bad. It was the dude, you know, that's in jail now for Jam Master Jay, and all of them. You know, the dude that's in there for murder for that. Okay, all right, okay, cool. Well, how many murders have y'all known that we done heard where people were getting blamed for shit, i.e. Reggie Wright, that had nothing to do with a murder? We hear that happen all the time. I just threw out something. So that would be my only take about the Stretch interview. I'm sorry, the interview that's going on with Ed Lover. He seemed to be coming off as a mature, older guy, but he obviously have a lot of love for Big Stretch. I didn't know Big Stretch, so like I always tell y'all, I don't put my nose in the New York East Coast business. I hate that they like to insert themselves into death row and West Coast business, but I only responded to this because Tupac was a part of death row and West Coast, and I respond to shit concerning our coast, and something that I was a part of. But hey, it don't matter. It's over. It's done. They both in heaven now. Hopefully Pac and Stretch is up there in heaven, and they worked and talked up and worked it out, and they back cool. They back buddies. That would be my only take. But I just would wish that when you have information like that, and people were constantly saying, I don't get it, I don't understand. Nigga, you know, one of the main reasons he was mad. And because he really believed. He's calling him, telling me, hey, John, you better get your money right. Nigga, Trayvon about to come get your ass. Nigga, what you know? You know, John supposed to be like, Reg, what you know? What you hearing? Nigga, what's up? How you coming at me like this? All right, let's go get that nigga. Let's go get him. That's what John supposed to be saying, or that's what I'm supposed to be saying to John. That nigga called and said, what? Okay. Well, when we riding up, when we mounting up? I think that's how Pac looked at it, y'all. I think that's how Pac looked at it.
Another thing, Reggie, that Ed Lover said, and I just wanted to get your take on this, was, and there's a famous photo of him at the MTV after party where Tupac's wearing the Death Row East shirt and all that stuff. But he says that he spoke to Tupac at that party, and he kind of he frankly told Tupac that he was not happy that Tupac did not attend Stretch's funeral. Did you happen to be around them when they were talking, or not so much?
Not at all. Not at all. And hey, if that's his story, then that's his story. But Pac obviously must have a lot of love and respect for Ed Lover. I don't know. That'd be a question that Suge would have to. Hopefully he will hear about this and he will address it. Because I'm sure, or Edie, or Mutau, who was there to verify a story like that. It'd be great to hear when those two start doing interviews, if they address that, to at least to say that they had that conversation, or that Pac, said that Ed Lover had the nerves to come telling me I should have went to Big Stretch, services. That would have been, if he said something like that to him, trust me, Tupac Shakur mentioned it to either Napoleon, who's still here. I'm just saying people that we know that doing YouTube that's still here. Suge Knight or Edie. He mentioned it to one of those three. And so those would be the ones that will have to answer that. Yeah.
I wanted to see if you got a chance to check out an interview that was being done by Willie Brown, and if so, if you had any thoughts or feedback about the interview.
Willie Brown. Willie Brown is a California legend, y'all. it actually was a great, great find on their part. Or it's interesting, interesting to me that anybody know anything about Willie Brown. Anybody from California, I know a lot of you guys go, oh, you always saying that about people, Reggie. You always saying that. That's your go-to word. Anybody know anything about Willie Brown? And if those accusations is true about Willie Brown and Carmela Harris, we all know that was a cover-up. That's a cover-up. Because Willie Brown is definitely, that's why the people in Frisco voted him in. But, hey, of course, how do you think, what website do you think the groupie found him on to DM him to get that interview? I'm sure they done been at a whole bunch of rallies. I'll say rallies together. And trust me, it all makes sense now to Reggie Wright. I know a lot of y'all don't understand it makes sense, but anybody from up north, Oakland, California, y'all know the rumors about Willie Brown. And y'all know what I've been saying the whole time about the groupie and his new best friend. And so, yeah, that would be my take. That would be what's going on. I just find it funny that 1 minute they over there bashing the shit with Dr. Umar and what's that fool name? Judge Joe Brown. And then the next ref, they have nerves to put up, somebody talking good about Carmela and Harris and all that. Now you'd be like, hey, they just journalists. They just report stuff. I just want to put this scenario to y'all and then I'll get off from it. So if you go to a church, right, and 1 minute at that church, you talking about, hey, there shouldn't be, don't ask me to marry no man and no man, no woman and no woman. Don't ask me to do that. I'm not going to do that at my church and all of that. And then 2 weeks later, oh, but it's, two high profile names. And they want to get married. And they want to come on your show or to your church and do it. And they'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll marry them though. They go. You can't do that in journalism. You can't do that as a platform. You got to speak one way, stay the same way. Be like me one day talking about the Republican Party, then the next time talking about the Democratic Party. You can be objective like that, like CNN try to be, where we know what Fox going to say and we know what MSNBC going to say. But so we know what they're doing. But when you have a platform and you shitting the whole time on this person, that's all you've been doing. Everybody bringing all these people, bringing all this person, JoJo Brown, and now talking shit about her. Then you come and bring because he swing like you, and now you want to bring him up on your platform? I have a problem with. I just point shit out. I catch shit. And even while we're on that subject, I want to teach y'all something. A lot of you YouTubers and stuff like that. Before y'all attack people on YouTube, I'm just trying to educate y'all and teach y'all something. Before you go attacking videos and stuff, make sure you do this form before you go and contact and try to file lawsuits and stuff. Make sure you do this. For you YouTubers, it's called the Register of Copyright, U.S. Copyright Office. Got to fill this form out. Because the judge's going to kick your case out. if you don't have this done prior to that lawsuit being filed. Just want to teach y'all something, you YouTubers. Y'all think y'all know what y'all doing, but y'all just throwing money away from people that just juicing you. Because you got to have that. We'll talk about that more in about 10, 15 days. Peace.
Okay. Last week, Reggie, you were the focus of, a lot of the allegations that we spoke about earlier with Choke and all that stuff. But a big thing came into question, and that was, does Reggie Wright have immunity for the Biggie situation? Yes or no? I wanted to get your definitive answer and let you speak on that.
Okay. All right, y'all. Immunity? Hell no. Immunity, no. All right. So what happened was Greg Cadians and them had this task force, right? And it was like 15 of them on the task force, as I always tell y'all. And they followed everybody around me, Keith E.D., Teresa Swan, probably Suge, and who else? Whack 100? I don't know. You have to read Murder Rap or the book, right? Or the documentary to see all the people that they were following around. But these are people that I know that they were definitely following around for about a year. So as they do, task force does, on a day they be like, this is the arrest date. This is the day we're going to arrest everybody, right? And so they started bringing everybody in on this one particular day. Everybody except Reggie Wright. But Reggie Wright wasn't dirty back in 2008, 2009. Now, God forbid if this task force would have been happening in 2012, 2013, my fat ass would have been caught up way before. I got caught up and got in trouble in 2017. Because about 2012, 2013, I was heavy into the weed game, right? We all know that. I ain't got to deny that. Don't do it anymore. Don't advise you to do it. Unless you're in the state of California now, which is pretty much legal. But don't send nothing across state lines. Okay. So, during this point of time, that Greg Cadians and his partner, and this guy, this FBI agent named Jeff, can't think of his name, and somebody else, Jeff, Greg, his partner. Oh, and Coet and his partner, Fournier. They all came on different occasions to my house, right? Hey, Reggie, we need you to help us with this case. We doing this, we doing this. Here's a picture. Look who we got in the backseat of the car right now. Look whose house we done went to today. Okay. Well, we investigating death row, and we got a federal task force, and we about to do this. Oh, okay. Well, y'all here to arrest me? No. Reggie Wright don't talk without no attorney. I don't care who it is. When I got into 2 shootings as a cop, first thing I was like, where's the attorney? I need the association attorney. I tell y'all that. I try to teach y'all that. I try like hell, but hey, I always tell you, if you guilty or innocent, get a fucking attorney, y'all. If y'all don't learn anything from me. Yeah, Reggie, go ahead, get your attorney. Okay, we'll give you a couple of weeks, before we talk to you, whatever. So there was this big time attorney that my dad had a great relationship with named Roger Rosa. And I go down there, tell Roger Rosen, hey, they trying to talk to me, this, all of this going on. They're like, oh, okay. Well, let me reach out to the U.S. attorney. Me and him are not the U.S. attorney, the deputy U.S. attorney that's handling the case. I know who he is. He gets back to me about 2 or 3 weeks later, Roger Rosen, and he said, hey, Reggie, And I didn't know the difference. I just learned all this, the difference from the Keefe D shit between a queen of the day, they call it, which is a proffer agreement, aka queen of the day, and an immunity agreement. They say they want to give you a proffer agreement or an immunity agreement to come down and talk to them. Something regarding a Biggie Small murder or something like that. And I go, what? So he said, just sign this, sign this paper, or here's the agreement. Here's the agreement that was sent to me. And they said, y'all see it? Okay. They said, now y'all make sure y'all look at the back of that agreement too. And so he goes and says, I said, Biggie Small? Oh, shit. I ain't giving you no $10,000 to go down there to meet with them regarding that. You tell them to send me whoever need to talk to me. I don't need no proffer agreement or no proffer session regarding no Biggie Small thing. Not doing it. No, don't need that. I said, that's all they talking about. Yeah, that's all they want to talk to you about. But by this time, Greg had got kicked off the particular task force. He had got reassigned, something that went down, right? By the time I got around, or they reshuffled and got through there, now they got the two black cops that's handling the investigation part of the Biggie Small. Because I guess they all had different assignments on the case, They had different people dealing with each other. And so the two black cops came, right? And they go and try to show me this agreement, talking about, we got this letter from Poochie saying this, and that. And I just started laughing. I was like, well, y'all don't think I already know about this letter? Because they had showed a same or a similar letter to Teresa Swan. So y'all gonna come at me like this? I don't need to talk or deal with y'all anymore. That's all that happened. And they just laughed. And ever since then, me and those two black cops, or definitely one of the black cops, has been a cordial, very professional relationship since then. Yeah. That's all Reggie did on that Biggie Small investigation or any contacts or anything like that I had with them. Is when that meeting happened, where they tried to show me that agreement, and I pretty much laughed at them. So to say I have the agreement, I was sent that agreement, but as y'all see, it was never executed by the U.S. Attorney Office or anyone from there. And that type of meeting or session that y'all saw Keefe D had, where him and his attorneys was in there, and they had their attorneys and all of them, nothing like that has ever taken place with me. But more importantly, and what y'all got to understand when y'all listen to the idiots on YouTube, is cops can't they can make it. They can do whatever the fuck they want. But let me just teach y'all something. A cop can't give you no type of deal that's going to happen in the court of law. No type of agreements. It has to come from the district attorney for the state cases and the deputy U.S. attorney for the federal cases. This is something for y'all to learn so y'all know. Because I know y'all got this snitch yoke and all of that. Who should know this, because I'm sure he had some type of agreement when he snitched on this boy. But don't let him come up there and be telling y'all Greg Cadians gave that to Reggie or did this or all of that. Greg Cadians, number one, wasn't even on the task force at the time. But two, and more importantly, can't do it. It has to come from the attorneys, the DA, or the deputy U.S. Attorney's office. Okay? So that's what happened on that.
It hasn't been talked about as much as I would have thought, but did you see that Tory Lanez released a song, seemingly a diss song from prison?
Yeah, I forget the name of the files they call it. They call it something like Tory Lanez. I forget the name of it. They have a name that they call it. And it was actually 2 songs that he released that were doing very well. Sound good, man. That engineering or that sound quality, I know a lot of you motherfuckers, y'all think everything is AI. Well, I keep telling y'all, AI don't sound that good and that clear. But they did a great job. But recently, I don't know if y'all noticed, that the deputies, and he's in the state of California prison as well. Guess what they did? After they heard that stuff been played on the internet and all of that, now it could be because he was really helping people. He was letting dudes from jail sing on songs and do stuff, and he said how he was helping guys with their legal defense, and was taking the money. He wasn't trying to profit from the money. He was just trying to help dudes out and get them attorneys to fight appeals and stuff like that, which is a smart move. I talked to my boy Detail recently from county jail, the producer Detail, who's still in there for fighting a rape case. And Detail was telling me how, man, tell Tory, if you ever know, or put out there in the world, Tory Lane, when he was at the county jail, because they was all locked up together, he started something where they used to shut down at 8 o'clock p.m. And during that time for like 30 minutes, all they did was all just in there praying and stuff like that. And so they said Tory Lane was, he was even a leader, at the high power in county jail for the people that was, high celebrities or whatever that were locked down. So I like that about Tory Lane. Didn't know that about him, that he was that type of dude. But I really liked when I heard that he was doing stuff and helping dudes with their legal defense from the money that was made, because it had got a bunch of downloads. Okay. So my point to all of that, and the only reason we're bringing it up, is just to shout out Tory Lane, showing what he's doing. Don't agree with what he did or how that thing went down. I definitely think it's a diss towards Megan Thee Stallion. Y'all know I think Megan is doing hell of a things, currently. I think it really helped her career. But it made me think, man, state of California, the guards went after him like that quick. Suge Knight been doing a podcast and doing stuff and putting stuff all on the media since what, about September of 2023, I guess? And we haven't heard of them doing anything like that to him. Now, I wonder, I'm hoping that they're not doing stuff like that because they setting Suge Knight up to let him keep talking. As you always say, let Reggie keep talking, keep talking. I've been saying this. I've been on this internet shit real active since like 2017. So that'd be about 7 years. Yeah, keep talking, keep talking. I love that every time y'all say that bullshit. But I wonder if that's what they doing with Suge. Why they letting him go so long and they haven't tried to shut him down, but they shut down Toy that quick? It could have been because Toy was helping people and giving money for people to fight. I don't know. I just find it very interesting. And I'm bringing this up because I know people be running back and telling Suge everything I said. And I just want him to kind of investigate it just to make sure that, and find out why they did what they did to Tory Lane, and why they haven't did him like that yet. Will be my only take. Yep.
Did you catch any of the interview segment that Little Sean did on Matt Hoffa, where he told his side of the story about the quad incident with Tupac? Did you see any of that, and do you have any opinions on it?
Yeah, I saw only the segment that he did about Tupac. I know they usually drop off some different segments and stuff like that. And like I always try to tell you, I try to purposely stay out of East Coast business. I really do. And I shout out. I like Math Alpha channel. I like what they do over there. If I'm keeping it real, I think they get a little bit. I'm not one to when guys start drinking and smoking and they talking because I've been in those type of conversations. I've been around it. And I know how my homeboys once they get that keep getting that hen or that get that brown stuff in them and smoking on those cigars or that weed, they get the going. They get the hyper. So you start embellishing a little more. And so that's the only thing or the problems I have when guys drinking and smoking on camera. Because I know that a lot of stuff you got to take with a grain of salt because they be embellishing a lot. Here's a picture of Lil Sean. I want y'all to see who Lil Sean is because I'll be honest, I didn't know who the fuck Lil Sean was prior to that interview. Never have saw anything about him. I know y'all might have because I know a lot of y'all are hip-hop heads. But for the casual viewer like me, didn't know who he was. He comes off as a cool dude. He comes off as guys that been to prison and did a little time usually have a little bit a way about themselves. And that's how Lil Sean come off in that particular interview. I don't like how he trying to downplay Tupac like he didn't know him. Like I ain't had no relationship with dude. My girl Miss Matthews, who always argued with me in the comment section, it was interesting to see how, he even said that Pac was having financial problems at that time, and everybody knew it. I always tell y'all that. People always get mad when I bring it up that, because of his legal situation. We all know, Pac had some situations at that time. Even later on, Me Against the World came out and did what it did. He still was having legal situations. But people like to argue with me about that. And so I'll just leave it alone. But hopefully one day when Antone start doing interviews, he'll really, he can tell y'all. Because he knew the business. He knew what really was going on during that time. Okay. So he told us, we learned in that particular interview that something I hadn't really heard, you guys might have known, that what's the gentleman that had the TV show that used to be over Uptown? John, I can't think of his name. Well, anyway, the guy that was the executive producer or the owner of Uptown Records, Andre Harrell. We learned in there that Andre Harrell, was willing and liked Pac and wanted to give him a job on the TV show that was hot at the time. Any of y'all don't know that show with it was real hot. New York Undercover was a hot TV show. It was like Martin back in the days. Martin used to come on at 8 o'clock, and I think New York Undercover came on at 9 every Sunday, and we used to run home to watch those two particular shows on Sunday nights because we didn't have all the DVRs and how you can tape stuff and all that. You used to have to tape it on a VHS recorder. So, but those are our big shows at nighttime. So it would have been nice to see Pac in a role like that. I'm starting to think, me and my mind starting to think, and I don't want to say this about Andre Harrell because I don't want to believe it, but it seemed like it was a setup because Lil Sean says when they called him, he didn't even know about Pac was supposed to be going on there getting on the song with him. The way we always thought it was like Lil Sean made it happen and Pac together. But he said the young lady from the office called and set it up, and he was like, I didn't know about this, but okay, Pac was who Pac was at the time. He was glad to do it. But for Andre Harrell to be there, I hadn't really heard that he was there, and for all of this to go down, yeah, I kind of understand why Pac was so believing that all these people were involved in his demise. Or not demise, but in him getting shot and and robbed that particular day. There's another person that talked about Tupac shooting himself in the testicle once again. Just to show how those allegations was out there, not to belittle Pac in any way. And how I always told y'all the story that I always heard, that Pac accidentally shot himself, but the other gunshots came from, from the guys. So yeah, that's what I took from the interview. Just that, okay, it was good to hear that Lil Sean wasn't cool with. Pac wasn't cool with Lil Sean there. He was just there on a paper chase right quick. But I kind of make me understand why Pac felt that a lot of people played a part of his situation that happened that particular night is what I got, and I'm hearing from that particular interview. What would be your take on stuff like that, John?
The only thing that stuck out to me about that situation was that he said he had heard that he was at Def Jam and that a demo tape came through of Tupac's "Against All Odds" before it came out, and that he swears that on that song there was an ad lib where they called him the F word and said, "We're gonna come get you." I do know that there's a "Against All Odds" demo version that's on a mixtape that's on YouTube. I can't remember the DJ offhand, but I'll link it in the comments.
It's a rhyme for you, I roll for you, it's all for you. It's all you bitch made niggas, it's coming for you. It's all mine. I don't care who the fuck it is. Touch me, imagine. I know you motherfuckers didn't think I forgot. Hell nah, I ain't forgot, nigga. I just remember what you told me. Said don't go to war unless I got my money right. I got my money right, nigga. Now I want war. Let's do this. I'm coming for you. You come for me. You touch mine on everything I love. I'ma touch everything you touch.
Where he does say a couple of extra things at the end, but nothing to that effect. And I'll just say that I've never heard an "Against All Odds" where he mentions Little Sean. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just never heard it,
Yeah. And trust me, it's not in the. If you haven't heard it, the estate doesn't have it, and it's not in the vaults. Now, Lil Sean wanted to make it seem like because he's so tough and he's so street credit that he got to us, which would have been me or Norris at that time, to have that, to get Suge to have that pulled off the particular album or the song. But like I always said, if we would have did something like that, knowing what happened between Pac and Nas and that conversation that they had, we definitely would have probably pulled the Nas part off of that song over worrying about Little Sean feelings. And so I just think that the song was pretty much, or the album was pretty much already done and was getting mixed down. I do know that there were other songs that was going to be on the mixtape that didn't make the mixtape or the album, Machiavelli. I do know that there was a different track listing that Pac knew or thought would have came out that didn't come out. But trust me, we didn't go in there and do no editing. And not that we were dealing with the estate at that point, because we wasn't. But Suge wouldn't have allowed anyone to change up anything that Pac was rapping about at that time. He wouldn't have allowed it. Yeah.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So Snoop Dogg releases The Dogfather in 1996. You start running the label the next year around May or June, I believe, from what you said. But so Snoop has the main single and video for the Gridlock soundtrack. But then when Gang Related and stuff comes out, he's not really very present. I just wanted to get your thoughts, and I wanted to ask you, when did Death Row as a label essentially lose hope or give up on Snoop Dogg?
Well, during that time, we had lost. What Snoop didn't know, and I wish we would have been a little bit more transparent with him to let him know that Suge was doing some revamping. And we went from $1.5 million a month to a deal for $350,000 a month. And so a lot of things were getting done. That's where y'all hear the stories about Snoop turning in some of the cars. He tried to make it seem like because, he found out they wasn't in his name. He finally looked in the glove department and saw the registration, and it didn't say Snoop Dogg, right? Is what he wants y'all to believe. But what happened was, to be honest, we had elected to stop making payments on a lot of stuff. A lot of people cars, a lot of you have to cut back. That's what 75% of a drop, 1.5 to 350. I don't know the math, but that's a big drop of percentages that was getting cut. And so Snoop at that point was asked to be turned cars in and stuff like that. He was feeling a little frustrated. He had started hanging out with people like Mac 10 and all of them, and doing stuff, and everybody had to pull in their buckles. And so once Snoop started bringing and dropping his cars off and stuff, he felt like he was feeling some type of way, and he was feeling like it was time to run. It was time to go. Now, there was money still being generated that came in, but at that point, Suge was trying to negotiate a deal to get rid of Snoop because he knew he was unhappy. And so that's when Suge was trying to get him over to Interscope and Priority to do a 50-50 joint deal on him. And they were trying to buy him for, I think it was like $7.5 million or $8 million. And then Jimmy pulled out at the last minute. Where even Def Jam, Lee Corner came up there, and Suge had even told them he wanted $13 million. But y'all got to understand, Suge had a great relationship with Jimmy and them. And for some reason, he had always hated Leo Corn and what's that boy name? And Russell Simmons. And so, but they came back and told him that they couldn't come up with, I think it was $7 million or $8 million. And Suge took offense to that. I never understood why he took offense to that. And he thought he had that deal, I think, with Brian and Snoop. I'm sorry, and Jimmy. And so he thought he was going with that deal until Jimmy at the last minute, and I believe it was because of Dre, decided to back out the deal right quick. And then that's when Suge came up with the idea of, as far as getting Master P involved and coming up with the money, because Brian was only able to come up with $3 million or something. And so that's when he told him to build the rest of that country motherfucker, meaning Master P. And I think that's how they ended up coming up to 4.5 or $5 million. I forget the exact number, but I really believe it was like $4.5 million and a override, where Suge was going to get a 5% or 7% override off of Snoop's album. So during that time, and so that's why the relationship, and if y'all see the back of Gang Related, y'all will see that it was distributed by Priority, and that a lot of Priority artists was on there. I.e., I think Mac 10 was on there, and Ice Cube was on that particular soundtrack, as I remember. And so that's when the relationship with Priority and Brian started, and got even bigger or better, because Suge and Brian had always had a decent relationship, to my knowledge. I think they distribute either Dog Pound album or one of those albums prior to that. They had distributed a few albums. And they always was like, I try to teach y'all, it's going to be a part of anything that Dre was on because of the deal of the breakaway from NWA. So that's what happened. 98, 97 was, the end of 97 and all of 98 was a bad time between Death Row and Snoop, because he was out there running around as a free agent in his mind, dissing, and Suge was, every time he went and did something, he was stopping it, having me send paperwork and stop it. To even one time he did a song for Master P, where we made Master P, which was a lot of money then, it's not shit now, give us $100,000 or we was going to have it removed from the shelves. So, he was doing little mixtape songs and all of that calling calling them big old sales, setting them well, sales, telling tales, and all of that. And but as y'all see, Suge was still able to make deals because during that time period as well. And if y'all believe what everything the dad say, I think he had a recording budget, and he was given like $2 million for an album that he did, that Retaliation Get Back particular album that we still put out during that time period. And so if Snoop would have just hanged in there and not been so disrespectful, I think he would eventually been the key to Death Row. But I think also, as you stated at the beginning, the album Dogfather came out. For some reason, we thought Snoop was dead. His career was done. And we didn't think that he, didn't have Corrupt over there helping him write. And Suge just, I don't think, believed in the Snoop anymore. Will be my take, because he did just start distance from Snoop. Snoop did some things, and Suge took it one way. And so that would be my take.